There's been a lot of talk online about the current state of gaming and why aren't games fun anymore? Why aren't I having fun anymore? Why can't I finish my backlog? Why? And I am here to say that the problem is you. Alright, not exactly you, but the way you play games. A long time ago, I made a vow to myself, and that sounds really stupid, but I did. I made a commitment to myself that every time I play through a game, for the first time at the very least, I'm not going to look up anything about the game. I'm playing everything blind. I've been doing this for so long now, and this habit is so ingrained in me that it's something I completely forgot that I did up until I started making videos. Because every now and again, I'll get a comment saying like, hey, you could have done this better had you known this information. And the thing is, I don't know that information. I even do these challenge runs blind. I have a much more fun time playing through these blind and telling these stories from the perspective of a player doing it themselves blind. I think it's a much more interesting story. I think the age of the internet and, all the responsibilities that come with being an adult, all these adult ass responsibilities, people paying for my adult ass time. I have to spend my adult ass time going to your adult ass wedding and bachelor party, play adult ass sports, pickleball. All the responsibilities and limited time that is associated with being an adult has driven a good amount of gamers nowadays to metagaming. Metagaming is a term that's commonly thrown around in the tabletop RPG space, but it can easily be used for this situation I'm describing as well. In essence, it's the use of out-of-game knowledge to influence in-game decisions. And what a lot of people end up doing with the limited time that they have is they try to find a way to play as efficiently as possible, looking everything up every step of the way. What build is most efficient for this game, for this challenge, for whatever it may be. The thing is, when you know exactly what's coming, when you know what's around the corner, you're stripping away a lot of your enjoyment from the game. You get the most out of your game when you decide to be okay with playing suboptimally. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna get stuck on a puzzle. You're gonna make really shitty character builds, but that's okay. Every hurdle that initially feels impossible to overcome deepens your connection, your immersion with that game. The mistakes you make, the challenges you overcome become your story, your playthrough, how you came through the game, and they inform your future decisions as you move through the game. Like if you went to go watch a movie and the main character, the hero, knew exactly what to do at exactly the right time, was able to dodge all the villain's plans and punches and just overcame everything with no plight, no challenge, that'd be a boring fucking movie. You wouldn't watch that movie, so why are you playing the game that way? What happened to physical gaming media? Let's say I do want to do a little metagaming, right? My options are wiki pages with 16 ads on them like I'm looking for a fucking cooking recipe. When we used to get these strategy guides that were made with so much love, like in-game art, really captivating layouts, these were just so much fun to flip through. I don't know about you, but when I had these were things I carried with me when I couldn't play the game. They extended your experience with the game, Like, check this out. This is the strategy guide for Heart Gold and Soul Silver. This is a physical fucking Pokédex. Final Fantasy strategy guides call these bestiaries. But this is just a Pokédex that you can flip through. How fucking cool is that, Even the modern day way to metagame, if you're wanting to metagame, is kind of a vapid experience. I kind of got lost in a rabbit hole looking at different studies that talked about the physical component of learning and, how getting more hands-on with the learning experience tends to make people learning a subject more motivated to learn it, more captivated, more engaged with the subject. And I honestly don't think it's such a far stretch to think that when you're adding physical components along with your gaming experience, the same can be done there. I think the lack of a physical, analog element with modern day gaming is a bit of a detriment to the overall experience of a game. Dude, these things are so sick. Rockstar has always been really consistent. I'm curious if they'll do the same thing with like a physical copy of Grand Theft Auto 6, or if this will be, allocated to a pre-order bonus. but Rockstar has always done such a cool job flavoring like their physical materials. This is Grand Theft Auto 5, so this isn't even that long ago. I don't know if Grand Theft Auto 5 came with a booklet, but Rockstar used to style their booklets like it was an in-game, like this was something that you can get in Vice City. So this is Vice City Stories, made it look like a little tabloid magazine. As you go through, like there's ads on the back pages. And then like I found my copy of Guitar Hero 2. They made this look like a rock magazine. One of my favorite playthroughs of any game was in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. My Wii U copy either came with a map or I printed one off. I don't remember because unfortunately that copy got sacrificed to the gods of Pawn. In any case, I decided to turn off the heads-up display and only use the physical map as my navigation. Just this one simple act of using a physical map as opposed to an in-game one made the experience that much more immersive. Now I had this physical artifact, this map that kept track of my progress, that had my own handwritten notes, my own waypoints on it. The other aspect of doing a playthrough like this is something I'm sure you've noticed if you've done something like a Nuzlocke for Pokemon or a Iron Man for RuneScape. Imposing limitations on yourself playing in a restrictive manner often breathes new life into a game that you know back to front. There's another more hidden hurdle that you're up against when it comes to enjoyment of a video game if you're someone like me who's been playing games for the majority of their life. With years and years of gaming, we've built a library of knowledge of how these games communicate with us, you know, gaming language, if you will. There are a lot of shorthands, a lot of mechanics that are shared from game to game, and while this makes it really easy for us to pick up a brand new game and not feel too lost, it also comes at a price. Some of the studies I mentioned earlier talked about the relationship between cognitive effort and motivation when it comes to learning a subject. And what a lot of the research showed is that the more cognitively engaged you are with something, the more motivated you are, the more you're enjoying learning that subject. At least to some extent. The studies also showed that there's a balance to this. You make something too hard, people are going to drop off and not enjoy what's going on. I mean, just look at the Dark Souls, Darkborn, what are we calling it now? Soulsborne? That's the one. Just look at the Soulsborne series. There's people who really fuck with that shit, and there's other people that are like, this is a waste of my goddamn time. This shit's too hard. And so the reason why I'm bringing up cognitive effort along with being a lifelong gamer is because there's a lot of processes that we do that are automatic at this point. You know, driving in one game feels not too different from driving in another game. We're not as challenged when we move from game to game. Therefore, we're not as attached to every game that we play as we could be. Like, this stuff is really obvious, real easy to feel when you're playing through a game for the second time or the third time. Like, obviously it's not gonna feel the same. It's not gonna be as enjoyable as it was the first time, but you don't really take a step back to think about like how much your knowledge is affecting your enjoyment of future games. It's there, it's behind the scenes, but like, you enjoy games slightly less because you're good at this shit. You fucking good. You be cooking. Put me in a car in any motherfucking game right now. I'll get first place right now. First try. Ain't nothing. So yeah, main takeaways are take a step back. Play games a little slower. You know, try to move away from going into brain dead vegetative automatic mode. You're trying to not be a stealth archer in Skyrim for the 45th time. Or, you know, if you're playing an RPG, write in a journal from the perspective of your character as you're playing through. I've done that before. That's really fun. Draw on a map, do things. Try it out. I guarantee you're gonna have a much more fun time playing games. But hey, if you like what you heard, give me a chat below, hit the sub button, thumbs up button, tell me you know it was Cho. But yeah, tell me what you think. Tell me about a time that you've played through pretty slow. Give me like your favorite Nuzlocke or some shit like that. Like, this shit works, man. Try it out. All right, peace. With years and years of gaming, we've built this foundation, this library of knowledge, this holy grail of video game knowledge. I turned into Igor for a second. Yes, master.
Oh, you want to know how to drive in Grand Theft Auto? Ha! Well, what if I told you you already know how to drive in Grand Theft Auto? You know how to do that because you drove in Forza. It's not that different. You drove in Need for Speed. The only thing different is how you press the gas. In the handling.
I didn't know I could do that voice. What was I talking about?